Hi there. Hopefully in this video I'll be able to help some people out resolving hard water issues on ceramic tile. In this particular case, we have a home in the Phoenix area, blue ceramic pool tile. Pool was replastered and tiled about 12 years ago. We use a copper ionization system which helps where we don't have to use much chlorine. As long as it's maintained well, it does a pretty good job. But our electrode had wore out. And this summer we noticed heavy calcium hard water buildup along the blue tiles. Obviously it looks horrible, causing it to look white. It does not come off very easily. We've tried many different products. Some help slightly, but in this video I'm going to show you some of the tools and the procedures that I used to try to remove it, what worked, what didn't work. Obviously a razor scraper was helpful, but would have took forever. Scrubbing pads, helpful, but did not cut it. In the end, I come to the conclusion that grinding is going to be the only way to remove it without replacing the tiles. I did try a pressure washer, and that did not make a dent in it. Uric acid did not make a dent in it. Obviously, in Phoenix, when you are in the summer, you can't drain your pool because the plaster will crack. You can only do it in the cool weather. So what I ended up doing was lowering down the water level a little bit so I can access the tiles. I have a 20-year-old air compressor that's used for airing up tires and running small air tools. It's a 60-gallon compressor that I purchased for $450 20 years ago. You will need an air compressor. Borrow one, rent one. More air capacity, the less the motor runs. So mine was constantly running. But seeing as old as it is, I didn't care if it died. I just wanted to get the job done. As I said, mine was a 60-gallon compressor, and it had a hard time keeping up. You'll notice in a couple of the photos here, I initially had an old air sander that was used for body work. It was purchased in Harbor Freight Tools 10 years ago, sitting in a drawer, and I thought that I would give that a try. Obviously, you cannot use electric tools in the water. That would be bad. So I do not suggest trying that unless the pool is empty of water. In my case, it was not. I was not draining the pool, so we went with air power. Seems safe. The old bodywork tool looked like it would be helpful as a test area. And I went to Lowe's and purchased a couple of scrubbing wheels. You can see in the photo here where the product that I got. They were about $15, and they seemed to do okay until the mounting surface started to deteriorate from the water. So then I had to find option 2 and get another tool. I went to Harbor Freight, and obviously they do not sell replacement heads for that original tool. But I did find for $15.99 a high-speed air grinder. And I said, I can make this work. Purchased that and a couple of grinding pads. They're not actually grinding wheels as you would see on a grinder. They are abrasive pads, kind of like a very dense Scotch-Brite pad, a green pad, if you will. Only very coarse. I'm going to say equivalent of a 40 grit. Now, I will say this can scratch your tiles. In my case, it did not scratch any of the ceramic tiles. It did scratch a few of the glass tiles in trying to remove this hard water buildup. But in the photos, as you can see, the before and the after, the effort was well worth it. About 4 days. But I didn't work full days. I worked 3 hours one day, 2 hours another day, 3 hours one day, and finally got all around. We did have to replace a couple of tiles that were cracked, but that has nothing to do with the hard water. In this video, I'm going to show you how I resolved the issue. We have some before and some after photos, and the end result was well worth it. I don't know what it would have cost to have somebody come in and try to remove this, but as I said, I did try all types of acids and cleaners and did nothing for it. I let them sit overnight. I tried cleaning them off immediately and used scrubbing pads, wire brushes, and the razor scraper. The razor scraper did okay, but it was very slow going. We needed something high-speed mechanical, and this $15.99 air grinder did the trick. So if you have a little patience, I do recommend using safety goggles because chips of the hard water deposits could fly off and get in your eye. Do not want that. If you're using the muriatic acid to help break things up, I put it in a spray bottle and sprayed some on, spread it around with a green pad, and let it set for a few minutes before I tried tackling it with the grinder. Once I was through with the grinder, that got the majority of it off, and then I followed up with a little more muriatic acid, scrubbing with the green pad, and a little small wire brush seemed to work best for getting in the grout lines. The results are here in the photos. You can see it looks nice once again. So here's how it looks before and after. I'd like to bring to everyone's attention. First of all, be sure you have a good length of air compressor hose. I have a 50-foot hose, which was able to reach. Initially, I started with a 20-foot, and that didn't work well. Also, I had to take one of the round grinding wheel discs, and if you notice in the photos, they're generally pretty wide, maybe a half-inch in thickness, and I had put one in a vise and sliced it in half to make it a 1/4 inch, which really helped not only to get in the grout lines better, but also took some weight away and the air grinder went faster. So good helpful tips there. It wasn't easy to cut. I had to put it in a vise and cut it with a Sawzall, but we got through it. And well, lastly, when you get finished, obviously the results are going to be very good. There will always be some white sediment stuck in the grout lines. Grout is like cement, and it does discolor. And no matter how much grinding I did, much acid and brushing, I couldn't get it out entirely. But it's a far cry better than what it was initially, and at least the pool is presentable now. I can't thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.